Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at OTK Forest. This is probably one of the more popular decks for the unlimited format, especially with the Grand Prix running. I mean, definitely one of the more popular decks. So this one, different variant to what some people are running. I mean, I'm only running one Aria Guiding Fairy, running the H and Elf kind of combos. It is one of the couple of variants I've seen floating around, but this is what I have the cards to build, so still does reasonably well, although I have been failing at piloting the deck a little bit, trying to get the hang of some of the nuances of OTK Forest again. It's been a long time since I did it, because you guys know math is hard, but we'll get right into it and take a look at a couple games. So our first game here is a mirror match against Forest. That's pretty common in Unlimited, especially with Forest being the most popular deck overall for win rates. Probably right up there with things like Daria and D-Shift. Atomy, of course, being pretty popular as well, but I still think Forest just kind of takes the cake for overall popularity when it comes to Unlimited, at least from the games I have played for the most part. Starting off with a pretty weak hand, 2 3-drops, 5 and a 6-drop, no early game, nothing to really get the ball rolling, which is pretty weak when our opponent starts out with a fairy circle going for the double fairy play. Of course, we do get our Goblin Mage at least, which is going to allow us to draw our roaches fairly easily, so it's a nice little bonus to have. The opponent though throwing down their fairies, turn 2, probably looking for an H and Elf on turn 3, but Angel of the Word at least counters that a little bit, slowing them down and really making it harder on them. We do still see that H and L getting their drop off. Probably best play going into this now would probably be our own H and L, just because it will at least block their H and L for the most part, while at the same time allowing us to regain Angel of the Word that we can then use for more trade value. Being able to ping things away while at the same time using its body just to kill off anything in sight. Not so lucky though, they do actually get their Brambles down. A little bit of a nightmare. I think it's one of the few cards I'm actually not running in this deck as Brambles. Definitely something I should consider. Fairy Evo trade makes it pretty quick, especially since they can keep up their H and L's health, which is exactly what they'd want. Don't really have much else outside of Angel of the Word though. At least we can use this as a decent trade. I mean, slowing them down is kind of important. Being able to remove their H and L from the board at this point in the game isn't a bad spot to be in, even if it costs our own Angel of the Word. But Fortune Hunter, unfortunately, not getting to see anything too crazy. Pretty standard going for their Goblin Mage for 0 because it gives them an amazing roach play, which is kind of what you want.
It won't be long now. Get out of my
But we do get our Aerin off, which is good. At least we get something out of this, being able to trade it off, even though it was the only thing that we had that is able to trade effectively without losing roach. Grasshopper Conductor, not one you see played too often, at least not in the decks I've played against.
Tap your feet to the beat.
And of course, they Evo, being able to trade into my 6-2, giving them at least ahead of the board. So there's one of our Fairy Wisps, and another decent card going with the Nature's Guidance. Will allow us to at least reuse this one single roach a few times pretty well. Of course, we also have our H and L, which is an H and L that will return us cards that we'll probably need. So 2 damage to face, they go for their own H and L again. Not really getting as much value out of this H and L. I mean, it's still decent. Being able to limit what I can do because I can't trade my 4-5 into it, which is disappointing. But I can at least use these Goblin Mage to get my Roach into my hand and start to kind of set up the cards we need. We decided to go for at least a singular play. I was going to go for the Roach, decided to instead throw the Goblin Mage and lower our hand cost a little bit, even if it was at the price of that 0 cost. It was kind of just a last minute decision to dump it.
Let's get this concert rolling.
But it did build up our board a bit. Unfortunately, Lord of the Forest is going to clear us out. And still leave up this problem ward. We can remove the ward, we can start setting up our game, which is exactly what we want. And Sylvian Justice is perfect for that play.
Life's fate is that.
So Sylvian Justice into double roach into H&L sets up a ward for ourselves, while at the same time getting that little bit of chip damage in that we're going to need to secure victory.
Ow!
So while not quite an OTK here, it does at least set us up for a 2-turn lethal. Especially with Nature's Guidance triple roach on turn 10, we should be able to even get a fairy off and multiple roach plays. More than enough damage. And they are forced to at least deal with my ward first, which is good for me.
Let me hear your bravos! Life's fate is thus. Hey, let's play!
So they do go for their own roach. They are just kind of digging for that damage. I was a little worried they had 3 roaches. If they had all, would have been an absolute nightmare. Lucky the best thing it looks like they had was a roach return play, so that's a little bit of an advantage. They would have ended me pretty quickly if they did have 3 roaches. Luckily, I have more than enough now to completely decimate them. So 2 damage roach into a nature's, gives us 4 damage roach, then 5 and 6, which is more than enough to close this game out. 2 damage over lethal.
Oh, come on!
Roach army striking again.
Whoa, you're strong.
Next up we have Rune. Rune presents itself pretty well with a lot of variety, so you never really know what you're going to fight. Most commonly you will see D-Shift and Daria, similar to the decks that I've shown off my channel already. If you do want to check those out, please head over to the Unlimited playlist where you'll find all my Unlimited decks, which is a pretty good place to be right now, especially with the Grand Prix running. I know it will be close to over, but you can expect more Unlimited Grand Prix in the future. That's pretty much guaranteed. We'll also probably see some more rotation ones, so if you want to find decks for that, you definitely should check out my rotation playlist. So we do get the Flower of Fairies. Not too bad, being able to use that to my advantage. Chain of Calling could work. I mean, they're definitely getting cards out of it, which is good for them. Not sure whether they're pushing a Daria or whether they're pushing a D-Shift. I'm leaning towards D-Shift just based on the cards they have played so far. Probably a Giant Chimera Shift at that. So really I just need to do what I can. I mean, if they are playing D-Shift, I should be able to at least close out the game before they can, which is good for me. But it will be a reasonably tight, especially since I'm going to have a hard time losing resources here to really free up my hand space to get more cards that I want. But Magic Owl isn't a bad one. So I really wanted to at least free up my hand. I was getting in a little bit of trouble there with overstacked hand size, and playing Fortune I felt like probably wasn't going to be the best way to utilize my hand. Although I feel like in retrospect it might have been better just because I would have got the 0-cost Goblin, which could have drawn me a 3rd Roach and really set me up onto a really good turn 7 or turn 8 play probably, where Airbound Barrages and Roaches really could have shown through well. So if I only do get the Fortune Hunter out, at least this will give me the Goblin Mage, so we'll set up a decent turn 7.
I'll blow you away.
Will be overstacked on our hand though, which is a little disappointing. If this 5-3 even partially survives, we could be looking at a very, very quick lethal. Even without it, I think we stand a pretty good chance of surviving. There's the Chimera, that's a little disappointing. Being able to clear my 5-3 extremely quickly means I'm probably not going to get my Roach off effectively, or we might just. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. So we do get to burn another 0-cost, a little disappointed. But we can start going for our Roach play a little bit. Especially when we have H and Elf. I mean, we're going to return all of this, the 0-cost goes back to our hand, meaning we can reuse it, freeing up space in our hand for our draw, and setting up a decent follower to kill this 5-5. And even if we don't kill the 5-5, we'll at least have done a reasonable chunk of damage to that 4-4. But since they are evolving the Owl, at least that should be decent, unless they double trade. Or have, I guess, any spell that will remove this, but that trade indicates they probably don't have a spell that they're going to be able to use.
Life's fate is that. Ow!
So 5 damage to my face. At least now I can go for my Crystalia Aerin, which will allow us to at least gain an evolve point, set up a nice ward to block out damage next turn, hopefully free up our turn 9 for some decent plays. If not, we have another crystal which should pass us on to turn 10, where you can do absolutely crazy roach plays. We just gotta hope that at that point Rune doesn't have their combos. So our without an evolve is pretty okay with me. So I probably could have went for lethal this turn, I think. If I had have done some decent roach math, I might have been able to work that out. Instead I decided to just pass on that lethal and, well, potential lethal. Don't have the time to think about roach math. Who has time for that? No one. Because goblin, roach, airbound roach, and I might have just been able to make it. Either way though, we did just survive that chimera. Very close. It was definitely dangerous. But I do get a feeling I might have been just off. But this ancient elf, well, I mean, sorry, the goblin would have drawn us roach, so no, we would have had it then. We probably could have just lethaled last turn. I completely overlooked my roach map, I think. Unless I needed that. No, I think I needed that extra play point to use those air bounds properly. To get enough points. Or we were well, I think we were well and truly over, because that's 7, that's 8, and that's a 9, so yeah, we would have been well and truly over if I had just Goblin Mage and played that other turn better. Like I said, slowly getting back into the swing of how to play OTK Roach. It's been a long time, and I wasn't a big fan of the deck back then, so not surprising. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe. As always, you will find the deck list in the description below, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.